Good evening, campers, and welcome to our first live stream of 2019. So I hope you can all hear me and that you're all keeping well and have had a good break. Me, I didn't have so much of a break because, as usual, I ended up creating work for myself. Not that I don't have enough work, but I decided I needed more. Or I could say that work found me, but hey, either way. So, what happened was, around the end of November, beginning December, the land yacht decided that after 5 years and 84,000 miles, the brushes in the DC motor had pretty much crapped out. And I decided at that point, well, surely I can just do a quick AC motor swap in there. And that project, ballooned out quite a bit. I did get it done insofar as I was able to drive the car, away in 2 weeks' time. So I was quite pleased with that. And but that's when the fun started. And if you guys have been following the videos I've been doing on that, you'll know that I've been having some tuning difficulties with the inverter, and there's been a lot of other stuff going on that I haven't processed the video for yet, but I do want to address it as quick as I can, and that's my friend behind me here, which for those of you that don't recognize it, is a Gen 2 Tesla charger. Because I also decided that I should upgrade my little 2 kilowatt homemade capacitive charger that had served me well for 5 years and throw in a Tesla Gen 2 charger in there. Not least of which was the potential for it to explode because of the 192 volt battery voltage that's in the E39, but also give myself something more difficult to do, right? So anyway, yeah, you can get 11 kilowatts out of these chargers. So anyway, as I was saying, I decided to fit a Tesla charger. So once I've been doing my tuning stuff on the motor and driving the car around in rings, I eventually started to run the battery down, so I had to charge it. So I had to wire up the charger. And as I say, I will be doing some videos on this and you'll get a lot more detail, but I do want to get some information out there to people that I've discovered during, as I say, probably about the last week that I've been struggling with this stuff. But the good news is, we're now driving pretty well. There's more tuning to do. We're charging pretty well also. But we are going to have to look at some software stuff on the charger. Now, okay, Tesla charger. Most of you guys will probably already know that I designed a open source logic board to drive the Tesla charger, and Tom Debris came along and did some fantastic software for us to the point now that we've got a really nice system going there. It's got a menu structure on there and it's very configurable. I've ran the chargers up to the full, I've ran them above 10 kilowatts. I've, crashed my car on a racetrack and then plugged the car in to charge, and, pretty much bulletproof. when I was in doing that development work on the logic board, I did manage to blow up one power module in a charger. And I did that because I tried to charge a 120 volt battery. Now, you might say, well, what's wrong with that? Right? What's wrong with charging a 120 volt battery? Because, you know, Mr. Musk says here that we can charge from 50 to 450 volts DC, right, at 45 amps. So you think, okay, you know, what's the problem there? I could charge at 50 volts at 45 amps, or I could charge at 450 volts at 45 amps. Well, no, you can't. So, why is that? Most good quality commercial chargers limit in two ways. They limit on current or they limit on power. Why did they do that? Well, they do it because they are trying to span quite a large voltage range. Like, for example, the Brusa NLG 513 will charge anything from 12, I think, to 500 volts for you. But it will either charge it at 12 amps or at 3 kilowatts. Depending on which you hit first. So let's say you were charging a 100 volt battery. Well, it's going to hit 12 amps before it hits 3 kilowatts. So it's going to limit on current. If you were now charging a 400 volt battery, well, it's going to hit 3 kilowatts before it hits 12 amps at 400 volts. So that's current and power limiting. The Tesla charger, at least, now I have to qualify this by the three words of wisdom. I don't know. And I don't know that what I'm going to say now is 100% true. But from what I've observed, the Tesla charger can limit on power, but not limit on current. So for example, when I'm charging the battery in the E39, the Panzer, it limits on power because obviously each power module is rated at about 3.3 kilowatts. So it's going to hit a power limit at 3.3 kilowatts before it hits a current limit at 15, 16 amps. Now, the difficulty comes when you try to charge a battery voltage that would require a current limit, because the charger doesn't have the ability to limit on current. So, a little bit of a recap for you guys, okay? So what does that mean? Well, it means that in theory, anything much below 200 volts is going to try to draw more current than the charger can provide and blow the charger up. So, I figured my battery in the yacht, nominally 192, usually, 192 is 3.2 volts per cell. If you assume 3.3 volts per cell, you get about 195. Then fully charged is about 212, 213 volts. So I figured I'd try it. And I did. Got a charger. Put a logic board in it. Put that charger in the car, wired it up, cooling flow, the whole lot. Hit the gas, big moment, had it on camera and all. I got all this on film. you know, figuring that at least if the charger blew up, you know, I'd get myself a viral video out of it. Charger didn't blow up. Spoiler alert. But what did happen is something I hadn't seen before. It sat there looking at me doing some really weird stuff. The first thing that it did with it was it told me that my battery was at 260 volts. And it wasn't. It was at 195. And the second weird thing is that it wouldn't respond to any of the messages that we would normally use to command current. It decided to do its own thing. Now, its own thing was something that I did recognize, which is what they tend to do when they don't get a current command, which is they kind of sit at a low level, give you a little peak now and again. I left the charger on all day doing that just to see, was I seeing something like, was it limiting because it was seeing a lower voltage than it should or something like that. But no, that wasn't the case. Charger was perfectly fine, but I had the wrong, number one, I had the wrong scaler for the measured voltage. And number two, I had the wrong commands to command it. So then what I did, because I'm lucky insofar as that a friend of mine has got 10 of these things, I started going through his stash of chargers thinking, you know, geez, this is a bit strange. Let's see if they're all doing it. And the first charger I took out of the pack, that did it. Second charger, that did it. Third charger behaved perfectly normally. I'm thinking, okay, what's changed here? So take a look at my part number. Now, we looking at this? Can everyone see this? Okay. Where's my hand gone? Damn it. Okay. See the second line? See the TPN here that says 00K? See the 00K? The 00K is what we call the good charger. If it says 00C, then that is a bad charger. Okay? Now, bad as in we just haven't figured out what it's doing yet. But 00K good, 00C bad. Okay? Now, how else do we know? Well, let's take a look at this charger here. I'm going to bring you guys over. I'm going to show you something. Here we go. Dodgy Damien video time. Alright, come over here with me now. Alright, how we doing here? Okay, we're doing good. Alright, yes, it is cold. Tell me about it. Alright, okay, everyone see the charger here, okay? Now, we have identical power modules, identical layout. Pretty much everything is identical. But there is something that you will spot between the K and the C charger. This is a C charger here, so this is the bad guy if you want to call it that. The C charger uses much thinner wire both for the DC and AC than the K charger. I'm guessing this is 2.5 and 2.5 here, whereas on the K charger this is actually 6 square. Now, what does all that mean, Damien, I hear you say? Well, it means that at some point throughout the design of the Gen 2 charger, there was a hardware and probably a software revision performed. And that means that we have some different CAN messages to deal with. So the C chargers is again this guy here with the thinner wiring, are using different, somewhat different, not entirely different, but somewhat different CAN messages. So this is how you identify a C charger or a K charger. Now, let's get you guys back over here so you can stare at my lovely face. Now, all right. How's that? Look at me. Okay, now, so that's one important bit of information that I want to get out of there to people straight away, is that, yeah, we do have we've hit something that would be fairly predictable, that there was some kind of a revision somewhere. Also, Teslas get software and firmware updates quite regularly over the air, so it's quite possible that just because you have a charger that, you know, physically looks like it should be normal, it may not be. But that's something we'll figure out. Obviously, if anyone has any further info on that, please do get in touch. Now, looks like someone's already got some info. Okay, so 00C is the first of the chargers used in the EU. 00L is the last of the second gen. Okay, interesting. So these are first gen of Gen 2. Interesting. So the K then is a later one. Isn't that interesting? 00L is the last of them. So therefore, KL. Okay, so it's obviously going C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so L is the last of the second gen. Interesting. Okay, thank you for that. That's, again, straight away, that kind of helps. So, all right, we will be looking at the CAN messages on this, and we will be amending our software to work with these C chargers, and we'll get that up there on the GitHub for you guys ASAP. I do have a control board from one of these, so I just got to go in there and get me some CAN messages. And of course, again, like all of this stuff that I do, it'll all be completely open source and available. All right. Now, that's been the charger side of it. I'm not going to get too much into the inverter stuff unless you guys want me to, because I'm covering that in the videos fairly well, and I've got a more detailed video on the inverter tuning coming your way. So as I said, I just wanted to get the information about the charger out there, just so people are aware. What am I charging from? Yeah, I'm charging from the mains, 230 volts nominally here. Also, I've used 400 volts 3-phase, and that works. You get the full 10, 11 kilowatts out of the chargers then. Actually, now that I think of it, that's something I'm going to have to do with the E39, is test it on 3-phase. Might be able to get that from a public charging point. Yes, the answer is I can use public charging. And we got a lot of other fun stuff coming on the E39 as well. A lot of CAN bus integration, that kind of stuff for people interested in, how all that stuff works. I'll try to cover some of that in as much detail for you guys that I can. We got a lot of conversion projects this year too, as well as my own ones that you're familiar with. There's a few I'm taking on for third parties as well. I said I wouldn't, but somehow I guess you just don't get to say no all the time. So anyhow, I'm going to open the floor. If you guys got any questions, queries, ideas you want to run past me, please do so. Otherwise, I'll just ramble on about meaningless junk, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. We've also got to pick back up on the Prius Inverter. That's not forgotten. Prius drivetrain stuff we're going to be getting back to as well, because yeah, I am pretty determined to try to reduce the cost of this for people. I got to finish the red E36 as well. That's pretty much just welding the sills. Naturally, they are rotten on both sides. By the way, guys, question for you. Anyone familiar with E36s know if you can get pre-made replacement sills for them? Answer is on our postcard. Yeah, the E39 still does have batteries up front. It's got 10 cells in the front. Dave was trying to convince me to put more cells up the front to even the weight distribution, but I kind of pushed back because I needed the car back on the road ASAP. If you guys don't know, I have been driving around in what I have termed the third mobile, and that is TURD. The third mobile is a 2001 Opel Corsa with a 3-cylinder petrol engine and a whole 993 cubic centimeters of displacement. Certainly does not qualify for the no replacement for displacement saying. Oh my god. Okay, ever tried messing with CAN e-bike systems? No, I haven't. Weird. Oh, the E65, yeah. Yeah. D65 is, yeah, I'm going to have to tell you guys a bit about Site B fairly soon. Both D65 and D36 are at Site B. So we will introduce you to that fairly soon. It's pretty cool. So we will be getting into that hopefully during the summer. I'm still not sure if I'm going to be able to do it in 7 days for you. I'll try. I'll definitely give it a shot. The reason I'm a little doubtful is that I guess the 2 weeks that I, the 2 compressed weeks that I worked on the E39 kind of showed me that while the mind might be willing, the body isn't. So, not 100% yet. For signal wiring, I would use twisted pair and screened if I can get away with it. Why didn't I use the Siemens motor that I had in the Panzer? Well, I had actually sold it, but even if I still had it, it wouldn't have worked too well for me because that motor was designed for a 360 volt system. Whereas I've only got 192, let's say, in the E39, and I would have found myself limited. Now, it might have been okay, these things are hard to quantify. It might have been okay, but it might not. I picked the motor that I did because it has quite a low AC voltage requirement. I think it's delta wound, I'm not 100% sure. I do have a second one, so maybe it's worth having a look inside it to see how the windings are configured. One other thing I do want to learn how to do is motor winding. Because I do want to have a go at rewinding motors to change the voltage in them. I think that's really cool. I know there's a lot of people in Eastern Europe do that. and I'd very much like to learn how to do that. It's just something I've never got my head around. Might have broken the gearbox, but all right, check this out, okay? Check this out. I decided when I was doing the motor swap that I'd better get myself another gearbox, because despite the fact that after 5 years and 80,000 miles, I had a perfect gearbox, despite changing gears without a clutch and all that crap. Oh no, I need to get a different gearbox. So I went off and I paid a guy $150 to get a gearbox. And I put that gearbox and my new motor and some of my nice, super expensive, fully synthetic gear oil into the car. Yesterday, I drove the car, out on the road for the first time. And guess what? The third gear, TH, synchro, is completely gone. It's non-existent. So it's crunch time if you try to select third gear. And also, great fun fact, it jumps out of third gear as well if you lean on it. So that's great. So I basically have a 4-speed gearbox now. So now I have another job. Now I gotta do a gearbox swap. Jesus wept. And it's not like the Panzer is still in the paint shop. The E36 needs to be welded and gotten through the test. And the E65 hasn't even started yet. And I have another E39. Anyone want to work for me for free? And before you say yes, I am an asshole. You just got to remember that. I am. Okay? No. Don't all say no. Don't all say no. I am an asshole. Okay? Now, yes, the new gearbox was pre-shagged. Correct. Yeah, it kind of came that. Yeah, even what. Will you guys stop saying yes? You don't know me. You don't want to work for me. I'm an asshole, okay? How many times have I got to tell you? All right. Now, so anyway, yeah, I get a gearbox. I pay a guy $150 and the third gear synchro is dead and it jumps out of third gear. So guess why I got it? Because obviously someone took the thing out because the third gear synchro was dead and it jumps out of third gear. All right. Oh, great. Okay, everyone wants to help me now. Thanks, guys. Well, I do appreciate the thought, despite my caveat, obviously, about my personality defects. Now, so, all right. Tesla charger. Oh, speaking of Tesla chargers. Hello, camera. Focus. Focus, camera. There we go. Look at that. Look at that beauty, guys. Look at that. That is our Gen 3 charger logic board. Okay, we are starting to build, and because I'm falling behind on the build, I have offloaded it to my PCB guys, and we are going to have 3 of these beauties fully built in about a week's time. And then we got the Gen 3 charger to fire up. Actually, I've got 2 Gen 3 chargers. One I have to send back to a guy, but yeah. Gen 3 charger. Lots of juice. So, next question. Do I, A, put the Gen 3 charger in the E39 and take the Gen 2 out for the E65? Or do I put the Gen 3 in the E65? Your choice. Okay. Okay. Do you guys really want to have some kind of get-together because I know like that the successful channels all have to have this, you know, you have the meet up and you have the, I don't know, you have the such and such a thing for 1 million subs and all this kind of crap. But yeah, I love my E39. I actually bought a second one. I bought a second one. Couldn't not. I don't know. Bought a second one for $300, guys, and it's mint. Apart from the fact that the automatic gearbox is dead. Have I got a gearbox problem? Like just in general, do you think I have a gearbox problem? Gearboxes hate me, don't they? Then there's the question: is why didn't I put the 6-speed into the yacht? Ooh, 6-speed in the yacht. Then it'd be like a real M5. Ooh. Though I do have some real M5 trim to put in. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so someone is suggesting putting the. Someone is suggesting, yeah, putting the Gen 3 charger in the E39. Yeah, well, true enough, with a 22 kilowatt hour battery and a 16 kilowatt charger, who needs a fast charger? That is a very good point. Speaking of fast charging, though, I went on a little shopping trip today. Now, I don't have them here in the workshop. They're in the house because I'm going to sleep with them. Oh, Jesus, did I say that? Oh, sorry. Okay, delete that part of the stream. Okay, so back in the house, and I'm not going to sleep with them. I picked up some new stuff today. I got myself a Tesla wall charger and a Tesla CHAdeMO adapter. So yeah, we are going to have some fun with the more Tesla parts, and they have, you know, the kind of, you know, the light that, you know, goes down into the charging cable and stuff. And all right, okay. Too many gearboxes. My target is 0. Oh God. Okay. Right. Fair enough. Charger is working at the minute, Tom, and not 100%, but that's probably more down to me than you. Yeah, and yes, we are running the latest code. Part number of the wall connector. I will get that for you. As I say, I don't have it here with me because I've got to tuck it in under a blanket and pat it on the head and stuff like that. You know, bit like my Snap-on grips. I bought a Snap-on tool from a Snap-on van at Dave's workshop. Okay, now I thought, never gonna happen, right? Never gonna buy a Snap-on tool, but I bought one. It's one of those sliding grip things, and this thing's cool. I kind of, I got that in its own drawer on the toolbox, and I clean it and, make sure it's got a nice soft place to sit and all that. Anyway, enough about that. Okay. Yeah, part number for the wall connector. Is it difficult or much work to convert a Gen 2 Prius to fully electric? You're going to find out, because I've got one, and I've also got a Gen 2 Prius transaxle that I've modified that's still sitting on the wooden blocks in there, because Muggins decides that just because you've too many jobs doesn't mean you have too many jobs. Would you say mounting batteries behind where the radiator is in an E36 is in the crumple zone? Now, that's interesting, because I actually had to get an automotive engineer to come out to the house here to look at the E36 and say, yes, this is an electric vehicle, so that the motor tax, motor control office, whatever you want to call them, would actually change the taxation class to electric for me. And he was a really nice guy. and kind of pointed out a lot of things on the car to me that, you know, that I kind of hadn't realized. Like, he showed me on the chassis legs where it's the chassis leg is deliberately folded in so that when a crash occurs, it doesn't just drive back into the passenger compartment, it kind of folds. And I have batteries mounted in the front, like they're not shoved right up to the front grille. They are behind the bumper bar, but they are pretty much up where the rad would be. And, you know, he said that's perfectly fine, because they'll just shove back into the engine bay in the event of a front end impact. Now, fair enough. Opinions are like backsides. Everyone will have a different one, but, you know, that's my experience of it. Yes, I do not mix Snap-on with my Draper crap. I wouldn't think about doing that, you know. I lost one of Dave's sockets there last year when I was using an impact and it flew off. I mean, I didn't even think about giving him one of my junky ones. I went and bought a genuine Snap-on. Now, that didn't count as a Snap-on purchase for me because it was to replace one that I lost for Dave. But this is my Snap-on purchase. Right, any more demo adventures? Tom, my old chum, yes, we are probably going to end up having a go at that because you may have missed it there when I was meandering, but I got a Tesla demo adapter. Say no more. So the old Rev 4 of the Charger logic board will probably have single wire CAN on there. Yes. Please don't tell Mr. Musco about that, because then he probably won't send the Falcon 9 after me anymore. He'll probably send one of his Starships or that after me, or land the Dragon on top of me. Hey, one thing you got to say about the whole Musk conglomerate is, though, that I think without them, we would really be sitting on this technology plateau. We've been sitting on a technology plateau a long time. I mean, okay, sure, I got a fancy 1080p camera and stuff like that, but yeah, great. So friggin' what? I mean, that's not helping solve problems. At least you got to give them, you got to give them that. Now, I'm rambling again, so I'll try and stop. What else have I got for you guys? Geez, there's so many projects now. There's a Range Rover in the mix, coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. Don't know why I'm doing it, but I am. So, yeah, another project. All right. Not going to rabbit on too much tonight. It's cold, but I am heating my feet here, so I mean, as long as my feet stay warm, I can pretty much talk away. Hey, check out the cool t-shirt, guys. Okay, it's got some right now, wrong side of me because it's in a camera. Look at that, the E21. I don't have an E21. Oh God, look at this. I am a disaster zone. Look at this. E21, E30 is on there. I've got an E36 down here. Then I have an E46 M3, and I think it's an E92 M3 in there as well. I really think I need about 5 of me right now. Oh yeah, we're doing a high OBC retrofit in the E39 as well. So that should be fun. Where's it gone? Is that it? No, that's not it. Oh, that's not the high OBC. That's not the high OBC. That's an F10 OBC. So F10 OBC is interesting. Picked this one up for almost nothing. Insofar as that it has not only wired connections, but it's got fiber optics. We like that. Here's a challenge. F10 instrument cluster as a way of displaying info about a Tesla charger. What do you think? Voltage, current? We like. Now, enough about my crazy stuff. Here's a question, because I know that a lot of you guys know way more about motors than I. Okay. Do we have CCS in Ireland? We do. Now, question about motors, okay? Because this has been driving me demented for the last couple of weeks when I've been trying to tune the E39, okay? Now, problem I have is this. At low RPMs, I've got very little torque. And if I try to put more amplitude into the motor, it basically maxes out the current limit. Like I'm putting 400, 500, 600 amps down the throat of this motor, and it don't want to make torque. But as soon as we get moving, we make oodles of it. And when we go up the rev range, we make oodles of it. Now, this guy even has lower inductance than the Tesla small drive unit. It's really weird. Do I need a 90 kilowatt three-phase EV motor? Hard to say no to that. So, this is what I get. I get high currents, very little torque. Once I get the motor moving, I get, normal currents and loads of torque. So, any of you motor people want to explain that one to me? It's really weird, because I've tuned a lot of motors with the Hubner system using slip control. And it don't want to play. But I'll keep playing with the parameters on there. Anyone got any ideas on that? Let me know. Also, it seems to like really high slip. It don't like low slip. Like I got to go from about 2 to 7 hertz. And what I'm figuring is, in my own, non-expert way, that because we're, in an induction motor, it's the difference between the stator and the rotor frequency that is the frequency that we actually couple into the rotor. We couple power into the rotor bars, so it needs a bit more coupling. Okay, well, more drivetrains. Jeez. Do I need more drivetrains, guys? You answer me that. In fact, I won't make a decision. You tell me. You guys tell me, do I need a motor? Do I need another one? And if that answer is yes, I'll go get another one. How about that? Could I alter the winding to star? Possibly. I don't really want to, because I had thought that my problem wouldn't be tuning fork. I can make a tuning fork out of my tweezers. Look at that. Ooh, weird. I thought that my problem would be I wouldn't have enough voltage. Now it seems I have too much voltage at low RPMs. I have plenty of voltage. Like I was winding up near 5 grand today, and I still had acceleration in there. Have I heard of an inverter with built-in pre-charging? Yes. I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% on how it would work. I would always inclined, like my best friend. Okay, do you know what my best friend in the whole electric vehicle universe is? Okay, do you want to take a guess? It's not a multimeter. It's not an oscilloscope. It's not any of the kit you're going to see here. My best friend in the electric vehicle universe is an electric oven element. Okay? You go down, you go to a scrapyard or a shop or wherever you're going to get one, you find an electric cooker and you go in there and you rip the element out of it. Then you get 2 wires on it. No matter what you're doing then with high voltage stuff, you put that in there first. And then, if like me, you screw up, well, you've got a 10 ohm resistor in there that won't let it go kaboom. So, try that before you trust your inverter maker, because you don't want to blow up the inverter, right? So, that's what you do. I mean, I've saved myself on the bench, I've saved myself in cars, I've saved myself quite a lot by just a simple electric oven element. That and the time I got an idea and I ran into the bedroom and I told my wife we were going to need to buy 49 volt batteries that day when we went shopping, but that's another day's work. Did you see any chance of hacking the CCS system? I guess so. I haven't spent any time studying it. I know that it works on some power line modem system or something like that, but I do have the standard somewhere. But no, I've never really spent any time looking at it. And someone's someone's cooker blew up 2 elements. Well, then you know where to get them. See? So you're all set. Now, gives me an idea. Do I need to get a body cam and just broadcast what I'm doing to you guys? Because that was kind of what I was going to do for the E65, but I get a feeling that now you're going to, not so sure if that is a good idea, because let's just say I can be a little bit more hyper than what you see here, even though this is fairly hyper. You put it in series, so you connect it in series with the high voltage system. Now, how do you know that you need a pre-charge? Well, then what you're going to do is this. You're going to look at how your inverter reacts. Like, is there a delay when you connect it? Is there a high current pulse? You're going to need a meter to try to capture that. But at least you will know safely by having the element in series with your whole high voltage string if there's something wrong. It'll just limit the current for you, so it'll save your capacitor bank and save your house, cat and car. Oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean by the molten slag coming out of the electric cooker element. There was one time I put 700 volts DC on a 230 volt electric cooker element. That didn't end well. Yeah, I don't know. The head-mounted GoPro I'm not a fan of. The people that have the head-mounted GoPros often remind me of playing the Splinter Cell game on the PlayStation back in the day, because you could shoot one of the guards in the head with a sticky camera and then get this kind of a view of him kind of going around like this. It was kind of crazy. So no, I don't go for the head-mounted GoPro. If I put one here, and then you kind of, you get to see the whole hands thing going on. I don't know. Probably a bad plan. Yes. There you go. That's exactly what you do. On the E39, is it possible that I have some kind of phase issue between the inner and outer sets of windings? So at low revs, they aren't magnetically different enough. Is it possible I have some kind of phase issue between the inner and outer sets of windings? So at low revs, they aren't magnetically different enough. Processing, click where, click where. Not 100% sure what you mean by that, but I guess anything's feasible. I haven't came across a motor that just sucks amps, does nothing, and then you get it moving and it wants to, M5 you. So yeah, sorry if you guys have lost the connection. I think we're still on here. Is this thing on? Hello. So, okay. There's a cup of tea calling me fairly soon. So. Ooh. A similar problem with low starting torque. They're picking up speed, high torque. As I understand it, it has to do with rotor resistance versus rotor inductance. Ooh, okay. Not that I know much about motors, but interesting. Well, put it to you this way, folks. If we can pump 400 horsepower out of a Tesla drive unit on a dyno with a crashed E39 and a battery out of a dodgy car with no history, pretty sure we can solve this thing. But appreciate any info. Very much appreciate. I appreciate the appreciation. Holy God. See, this is when I'm tired. It is currently 19:53 hours. Oh wow, morning in New Zealand. Well, you're in New Zealand. Wow, morning. Geez, that's crazy. Thanks. I mean, I didn't realize there was, well, such a wide viewership of Muppet Head here sitting in the shed. Yes, split the Tesla motor and put it on the gearbox. How am I cooling the Tesla charger with coolant? Okay, I know that's bad. Basically just got a cooling circuit going around between the inverter, the motor, the charger. Coolant pump. I've repurposed an E39 transmission cooler for a radiator, and it's working quite well. I've got to put a fan on it for when I'm charging because the charger makes quite a bit of heat. But obviously when we're driving, we don't need to worry about the heat because we've got ram air coming in through the vents, going through the rad, cooling us all down. So it's only when we're charging and the vehicle is stopped we have kind of a heat issue. So got to work on that. I got to say it's charging at 6 and a bit kilowatts is really cool. I mean, that's is kind of one of the things that I really dislike about this country is that we get pretty crappy mains power here you know, we got like 60 amps at 230 volts. You know, like some friends of mine in the US and that have got, you know, 200 and 400 amp split phase feeds, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys, the stuff I do with that. Yeah, maybe it's as well I don't have that kind of power. Um, because with great power comes great responsibility. Um, wow, you guys are all over the world. That's crazy. Thanks for tuning in. Wow. Uh, I am coming up on 10,000 subs though on YouTube, so maybe it's time for some. Maybe it's time I melt a spanner. Oh, that's what we're going to do. I have got myself some lithium titanate cells. Okay. Anyone want to see me melt something with those when I get to 10,000 subs? That'd be fun. Yeah, let's do that. Let's mm, yeah, I think let's melt a spanner with a lithium titanate cell, because those guys can put out amps. So that's what we'll do for 10,000 subs then. How's that? All right. Guys, I'm probably going to wrap it up unless anyone else has got any other questions or that. They are good for fast charging. In fact, these were being flash charged by a 400 kilowatt charger, so I think they should be. Um, sync offset won't do anything on a induction motor. That only works for a permanent magnet motor. Um, however, great. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'll do then. I'll do that. I'll melt something with some of the lithium titanate then. Oh yeah, the Prius inverter. Yeah, I've an Auris inverter as well here. So basically, yeah, Prius inverter. We have still got it here on the bench, and I got my. Hang on. Is it easier to bring you guys or to bring the inverter? I'll bring the inverter. I need the exercise. Okay, here we go. So I got my little breakout board. I'm going to try to lift this up for you now. Oh, the old back. Jesus. Now, got my little breakout board there. You see that? So I'm going to be doing some more reverse engineering with that guy. Pretty darn soon. In fact, that's what I was working on when the brushes gave out in the land yacht, and then the whole saga of motor upgrading started. I'm delighted I've inspired you to build a car. That's kind of what this is all about. You know, I can't build. Some people want me to build their cars for them, but I'm just one guy. I'll be dead before I'd have, you know, any dent made in the whole thing. But if I can get you guys building cars, well, that's a hell of a lot better. So that's what I'm here for. In the meantime, delighted to be here with you guys this evening. I'm amazed by the geography of the viewership here. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You know, as a kind of a channel, the whole YouTube experience thing for me, you know, I'm basically nobody. But you know, I don't have the volumes or any of the things that other more popular channels have, but I most certainly got quality here. So thanks a lot, guys. Thank you. Yeah, I need, oh, my GoPro. Oh yeah, you guys are gonna hate this, okay? I made a very detailed video about the inverter thing and the tuning and all that, and I went to edit it today, and I basically sound like a 78 RPM record. It's Crackleville. So my GoPro has gone pro, has gone amateur even. So yeah, um, definitely need decent camera. But I got this thing. I could use this thing actually. I mean, I could use this thing in a pinch anyway. It's just not as easy to hack this yoke around on a computer along with it and all that. But hey, alrighty. Thanks, guys. I'll leave you at that tonight. I'll be back soon. Got a lot of projects to share. Got a lot of boards to make. Gen 3 charger stuff coming soon. I have a Patreon page. Should be a link in the description. I'll be linking to the description of most of my videos to it. Again, appreciate everyone that supports me on there. I know that, oh yeah, just one last thing, right? One last thing before I go. There's been a bit of a kerfuffle recently about Patreon. I've had a few supporters that have left Patreon, you know, nothing to do with myself, but that have just left it because of this whole thing that Patreon seem to be doing about closing down opinions of people that they don't agree with. Now, I don't like that one bit. I'm a big believer in the principle that I don't have to agree with you, but you have the right to express a different view to mine. And I don't think that things like that should be censored. Now, as such, I wish that I were in the financial position to basically bin the whole Patreon thing, but at the minute I'm not. But if I can come up with a solution or another way that, you know, as I say, that you guys can help me run the channel and do the stuff that I do, then, you know, that is something that I'll be working away on. So if anyone wants to, you know, anyone has any ideas about things like that, then please do drop a comment below. Okay, that was it, and I'm glad I remembered to say that. Actually, I don't have a PayPal Me. I should have a PayPal Me, shouldn't I? Maybe I'll generate that, and I'll generate one, and I'll start putting the link in the description. It's probably the most sensible thing to do. I'm not that, you know, I'm not that great at using the latest things when they come out, and I really probably should do that more. Okay, well, if there are any alternatives to that, guys, do let me know. Anyway, better wrap it up because I'm rambling away. I'm going to drive everyone crazy. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Hope to have a stream again in about a week's time. And until then, thank you very much indeed for tuning in tonight. Thank you for the support. And yeah, I look forward to sharing, you know, all the various goings on in 2019 with you. Until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, we will. Happy live streaming, guys, because it's kind of fun. See you then. Right. See you later, guys. Let's see if I can remember how to turn this flipping thing off now. Oh, here we go. Now I gotta go and sleep with my Tesla charging point.